Hey guys, welcome to Split. It's about that time for much ado about nothing. In this case, it's the Nothing Ear A, the cheapest and newest in the lineup of earbuds from Nothing. Well, the cheapest, sort of. Let me explain.
Hey, we're party all night long. 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 We're party.
Yeah, it's J Lyricist. You know how we do. It's the remix, baby.
Okay, so I said sort of because when you think about the Nothing brand and everything it does produce, Nothing has a sub-brand called CMF, and that's their mass market brand. That brand is much cheaper. Remember the CMF Buds Pro? That's about 50 bucks, which is half the price of the Nothing Ear A, which is the cheapest when it comes to the flagship Nothing brand. So when you don't consider the CMF brand, which is mass market brand, this is the cheapest of the Nothing brand. We good? We good. Moving on. But just to be extra clear, this is the Nothing Ear A, which is part of the new lineup from the launch of the Nothing Ear, not to be confused with the Nothing Ear 1 or 2, which are the older models. Yeah, that sounds really confusing. What's with all these companies and naming conventions? Sony just fixed theirs, Nothing is now going down that rabbit hole. But just to be clear, these are called the Nothing Ear A in parentheses. Nothing Ear 1, Nothing Ear 2, where the previous generations and the flagship now is called the Nothing Ear. No numbers, no alphabets, just the Nothing Ear. So this is the second in that lineup, which is the cheapest of the Nothing Ear brand. Wow, that's a lot, that's a lot. Let's get to the review. Let's get to the review. Okay, so in terms of design, they are pretty similar from the earbuds perspective. And how can you tell them apart if you run into them in the wild? Well, one, they are the cheapest of the Nothing Ear brand, best part. And two, these are the only ones that come in Bumblebee Yellow. I don't think that's the official name, Bumblebee Yellow, but that's what I'm calling it, so deal with it. What else is different? When it comes to the case itself, okay, fine, that's completely different. They have redesigned it from that squarical thing with a dimple in the middle that you can use as a fidget spinner to this flatter, more rectangular look. Now, achieving this has its pros and cons. Its cons is that they have gotten rid of the wireless charging. I mean, that's the way to get to the $99 price point. But the pro is that it does fit into your pocket a whole lot better now because of that supposedly slimmer form factor. So it just slides right in, makes it a whole lot easier to carry around. The controls also have not changed. They're stuck with the pinching because a lot of people, well, some people seem to like the fact that they are in control of whatever input they make. No chance of accidental inputs by tapping or swiping, but some people still like tapping and swiping. We can discuss in the comments below, but that's what you have here. Other features they brought along from the Nothing Ear 2 that I like, multi-pair connection is still here, which is solid for me. That's like a go-to whenever it comes to earphones or earbuds. You gotta have multi-point to sort of be in the top league in my book. It just makes sense. And everything else. But what is new here? Let's talk about what's new with the Nothing Ear A. The first thing that's new is you have now the option to enable ChatGPT as your voice assistant. That's right. So the default is when you click and hold, you can either pull up Google or Alexa before or whatever it is you had picked. Now you can install ChatGPT and use that as your default voice assistant. And that gives you good options for very conversational flow given the upgrades OpenAI has done to it. But a couple of quirks you have to remember. When I first tried this, there was no way to turn it off, meaning that once you invoke the voice assistant was there. You know, ChatGPT just mounted off at everything you said, and even when you stop talking to it and you're asking someone to pass you salt, it would get involved in that conversation, thinking you were in love with it. So, but with the update, I think now you can just swipe down and you would see conversation in progress and end it. Unlike Google that supposedly stops listening after a while, this is always on except you end it. So you gotta remember to end it, even though it is a cool feature to have. Two, bass enhance. Now, bass enhance is a good feature where you can max out the bass, you can turn it on or off, or set it up between levels 1 and 5, I believe. Yeah, 1 and 5. Unlike Sony, this is no shade, I think they've implemented this a whole lot better because it does keep the details, especially in the highs, when you take that bass up. So for very better respectable sound, it doesn't go all rah, rah, rah. I prefer it between a 1 and 2, no more, or off altogether. but I'm sure some people will appreciate those higher bass levels. Something for Sony to look at and adjust when they go forward. So that's another place where they shine in a second new feature they brought to the Nothing Ear A. How do they sound generally? Teenage Engineering, they're still doing a great job when it comes to fine tuning for audio. So I think both audiophiles and general listeners will be very happy with the sound these things kick out. Not too much bass, and you can take it up in the settings and adjust it as you like. So it just ticks most of the boxes for most people. Even audiophiles will appreciate the audio that comes out of these things. There are a couple of nitpickings, as always. When it comes to ANC, ANC is actually pretty good when it works. I'll explain. So I can turn these on in a particular situation, just sitting outside in the park and not hear kids running by and cars whizzing by, and a random frequency can just throw them off. And it'll turn off, and I could suddenly hear most things I couldn't hear before that it was successfully keeping out. So there's something wrong with the balancing. Maybe an update will fix that. But right now, the ANC isn't perfect. It's great when it's working, but someone snapping or something falling at a high pitch can just change how it's sort of trying to cancel out that sound, and that changes whatever setting you're in at the time. And it's a bit odd, it's a hit or miss, is all I'm saying. But it is good when it's good. I'm pretty sure they can get it sorted out. Let me know if you guys are experiencing this, or maybe it could just be my pair, but I doubt it. I think a friend of mine also said he's experiencing the same thing. Also, when you go for this option, when you want to mess with your EQ settings, you will get the basic EQ setting that you're used to seeing from way back with the blob, where you can just move a couple of notches for bass, treble, and mids. That's it. You're not going to get that detailed EQ setting we got in the Nothing Ear 2 and the current Nothing Ear. That is so detailed that you can adjust everything you need, especially for audiophiles, those who are very well knowledgeable when it comes to frequency adjustments and whatnot. You may lose a little volume, but you can always fix that by just taking up the volume. But at least you will get the exact sound signature you're looking for. So that's not here. You will get a standard EQ, but not the detailed settings as you would find in the other more expensive pairs. Again, another reason it's $99. And those would be my main nitpicks, my main growls. Everything else is solid. Battery life here is 5.5 hours, which is almost an hour more than the Nothing Ear 2. So at least you're solid for a good trip between Nigeria and London, or depending where you're going. You can rough it out. And that's with ANC on. But I would love to see them get to the point where they're above 6 hours, like with other Sonys and Boses of the world, where that becomes sort of like the standard 6 to 10. But this does well at 5.5 hours. Again, you gotta remember that this is $99. Okay, things to consider when recommending this. Yes, smaller form factor with the case, so slides into your pocket, but you are losing wireless charging. It does sound better, brighter, cleaner sound than the predecessor, which costs more. It does lack that detailed EQ, but it still has multi-point connection. So if you're looking to get into the Nothing brand, this would probably be your go-to selection if wireless charging isn't gonna bother you too much. But if you're an audiophile, I would say maybe look at the Nothing Ear. But if that's too expensive, then go look at the Nothing Ear 2, because those go on sale and it probably costs just as much as these. And they do have the detailed EQ settings, which you can then adjust to your heart's content and get similar or probably even better sound and keep your wireless charging, but you will have a bigger case. So things to consider both ways. But all in all, they are a nice pair, save for that ANC thing that bugs me every now and then. If they get that fixed, this would probably be the perfect Nothing earbuds in the lineup, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Take care.